Hello Aries and welcome to my channel. We're going to be looking at your month of April. We're going to look at themes, we're going to look at what to approach, what to avoid, and pretty much cover like all sectors for the month of April. So I'm going to change the view of the camera so that you can see the shuffle on the cards, but I'm really excited. This is going to be a really good month for you. It is a general read, so some of the stuff will resonate, some of it won't. Take what does and just reject what doesn't. So I'm going to begin by moving the camera down so that we can, so you can watch me shuffle and pull the cards out. Now I do always pre-shuffle, but shuffle as I go along too. So let's look at the theme for you this month, Aries. Let's see what's going on with theme. As you move into the month of April, let's look at theme. And this is birthday month for a lot of you. So for those of you that are having a birthday, happy birthday. This is actually for Aries, you know what we're gonna do? Because this is birthday month, we're really gonna we're gonna take a wider look. Let's look at your year. It is your birthday. Let us look at your year ahead, because this has been one heck of a year, this 2020, I'll tell you. Nobody gets away easy with that. So let's pull some cards, and I'm actually gonna look at the scope of your year because it is your birthday. So let's take a look at the theme for the upcoming year. And let's start, I'm gonna use two oracle decks for this. So let's find a theme. Let's look at what Spirit wants to bring through as a theme for your year. And again, while I'm shuffling, take that time to breathe, connect with your guides, connect with Spirit, and ask questions, ask for a sign if that helps. I always find that does help me. And like I said, take what resonates and whatever doesn't. It's a collective read, so it's for a bunch of different people. So what do we have here in the way of theme? Actually, these two cards popping out are really drawing my attention. And I'm actually going to grab from this other deck as well and call it to make this pretty thorough in terms of the theme this year for you. Look at this year. How's Aries? What is the theme on Aries this year going forward? What's the theme for Aries with the year? Oh, wow. Okay, so two more. So you've got a lot popping out here. And let's take a look at these. You have, this is going to be a year of transformation, it's looking like. So, first card that came out, breadcrumbs of bliss. Heed your pleasure principle. It's a beautiful card. And then you also have flip it upside down and question your beliefs. And so what this is sort of telling me, this is almost like a follow your bliss sort of a message that's coming through related to this. It's almost as if Spirit's saying, listen, your desire is going to be your turn signal. That is sort of how you have to approach things. And where in the past it may have been like there may have been a sense in which like what drove you and what motivated you was more structured or more cerebral or related to, you know, like a more comprehensive goal. Like Spirit wants you to actually question those beliefs, question those ways of doing things, and flip it all upside down and move into a space of following desire and allowing desire be your turn signal, allowing desire sort of like show you where it is on your life path this year. Let that be the driving force. So that is part of the theme this year, is again, moving out of the old way of doing things and into a way of doing things that's more aligned with what you actually really truly want on a heart level and an emotional sense. And the other two cards that came out was every journey starts with a single step and sacred fool. And every journey starts with a single step for me, is speaking to the fact that this year is going to be a new you. Really, truly, this is a whole new you. Again, throwing out the way that things used to work, because you're like, you see how there's this beautiful energy coming out of her heart space. This is really how I see you being led in the year ahead, really just out of that heart space. And you know, the Sacred Fool is about not taking life too seriously and being able to be led by your instincts a little more. It reminds me so much of this is like a double message here. sorry about the light. This is like a double message here with the breadcrumb, follow your breadcrumbs of your bliss, and the sacred fool is almost like take your overthinking out of the trajectory of this year, because this year is about a new start. And it's not only about a new start, it's about a new start of and doing things differently, but in alignment with your heart center, in alignment with your emotional fulfillment. So that's a really good theme for the year ahead, Aries. So I want to look at, let's start with looking at, I'm going to move these over, that way we can see them, but I can see them. And let's start over here. Let's look at a key goal for you to pursue this year. Something that would be smart for you to pursue this year. Spirit, what would you like to show Aries in terms of pursuit? What would you like to show Aries related to pursuit? Again, this is a really cool card that I keep on seeing as I'm shuffling. This is a single, independent, like feeling really good about yourself, feeling really accomplished, and just standing in like a very powerful space. So a key goal to pursue this month is standing in that powerful space, feeling that, feeling like happy in an independent, accomplished spot, because that's just what's coming through. Now let's look at a key goal to pursue this month. Actually, we're doing year. So Spirit, a key goal for Aries to pursue this year. Let's just focus on that for a second. And again, ask Spirit for a sign if that would help, and certainly ask questions. But what should Aries pursue this upcoming year? What is something that Aries should be thinking about pursuing in this year ahead? Nope, something else flipped out. Okay, let's just see what these are. Okay, so this is a great card. You're going to be pursuing a lot of options. You've got a lot of options. There's a sense in which Spirit does, so, you know, in the upright, this card means planning, making plans to move forward, kind of charting the path ahead. But you have the Seven of Cups, which is very much like a card of having lots and lots of options. And then you have not planning ahead, and then you've got the soulmate card. This is a really great card, and this is actually generally related to reunion. So it could be a reunion with a soulmate from like a past life, or it could be somebody that you've known, but it's a reunion with somebody who's definitely a soulmate. So Spirit would have you like know that, like, you know, something to pursue is that you're going to have tons of options, but Spirit doesn't want you to plan it out too much. There's a sense in which like this reunion and the soulmate is going to come to you, and so certainly you're going to feel really good about the options that are in front of you. But to the extent that you're trying to sort of manage your way forward in a very like orderly manner, Spirit's like, no, just let this come in. Like let that soulmate connection. That's something to pursue this year. Let that come in, and don't, you know, again. You're following desire this year. You know, you're not doing things in such a methodical way, and you're allowing yourself to be totally new and not taking things so seriously. And again, being led by instinct, being led by heart. So to the extent that you're aware of all these options, that's beautiful. But Spirit, again, does not want you to think your way forward. So much what I'm hearing is feel your way forward, because you're really going to want to be able to be in a receptive place for this. It's a beautiful thing. So let's take a look at like any kind of obstacles to overcome for you in the year ahead. Let's see what are some obstacles for you to overcome in the year ahead. Let's keep pulling. Let's see what came out here. On the bottom of the deck, you have make a decision. Come to a decision. So in terms of goals to pursue, wow, look at this. Ay. All right. You've got a lot of difficult cards that popped out. And so I'm reading the reversals like as I'm facing them, because I do read reversals, and I read them very intuitively. It's like the only time I really take a real divergence like from the general interpretation is when I'm looking at reversals. I either see them as a repression, you know, the thing that the regular thing to do is to see them as the opposite of the meaning, and sometimes that is what comes through. But you know, for me, the reversals come through in like very, very interesting ways. So I'm just going to move this over, and I'll hold up the card as I'm reading it. So there's a lot here in the way of like obstacles to overcome, but really but this is related to like being left out in the cold and a really long, painful ending. So one of the main obstacles that Spirit would have you overcome in the year ahead, Spirit does not want you to hold on to whatever this is. This is part of the past. This is not part of your new beginning. This is not part of like, you know, being led by desire. This is not part of the way forward. So Spirit wants you to really avoid holding on to this, because you do have a whole new direction. That's what this Chariot card is all about. Right here, these three cards, the King of Cups in reverse, the Three of Cups in reverse, and the Seven of Coins in reverse. This is like where you were working hard and the gain was minimal, where you put in a lot of effort and the gain was, there was just enough gain to be gain, but not enough gain to feel like you, like, reward. Like it just enough gain to be a gain, but not enough gain to feel like a reward. And this is like terrible betrayal. People who you were close to that you felt would be, that you could count on. This is generally friends and gossip. And with the King of Cups upside down, there's a sense in which you've really pulled all the way in. You just pulled yourself all the way in and made yourself emotionally inaccessible. So as you move forward, you know, and again, you're going to be led by the desire, and you're going to be letting that desire be your turn signal, and you're not going to be taking life so seriously that you shut doors before you even move into them, because you're going in a whole new direction this year and really moving from that heart space, and it's a different way of doing things. It's a different way of being in the world. So that's what this is all about. That's what this Chariot is all about. But related to this new direction, Spirit really doesn't want you to take the gunk. It's almost like what I'm hearing come through is like the lessons of the past are not going to serve you. Like if you chart your path forward based on the things that you've learned through very difficult and like unfair situations, you're going to be charting a path of avoidance and not a path that is related to your desire and what you truly want. A path of avoidance is going to always have you in that like scarcity, fear, like looking over your shoulder, kind of a paranoid space. And to the extent that you've really pulled yourself in, like related to this gossip and something that you put like a tremendous amount of effort in, but it just didn't yield a reward. These are things that Spirit wants you to, these are obstacles that you're holding in your emotional space and that you're holding in your body, that Spirit says like, this is not part of this whole new beginning. You know, this whole new beginning that you have coming in is tons of options in every direction, like whatever, you know, you're going to have a lot that you can look at and say, I want this, or I want that, or I don't want this, or I do want that, but there's options. You're not stuck on like one little road or with one little thing. And this goes right along with this Fool card and this Flip It Upside Down card. You're a planner, you know, you're a methodical planner. You like to do things in a very thought out way, but Spirit really wants you to remember that like you've got these soulmate connection reunion coming in, and don't plan too much. Don't drive yourself crazy with overthinking it. And definitely do not hold on to any of the stuff as you move forward. It may feel like it makes sense to you, but it's not in the interest of like, you don't want to bring a big bundle of messy baggage into a whole new beautiful beginning. But let's take a look at like a key goal that you should be thinking about pursuing in the year ahead. Definitely look at a key goal that you should be pursuing in the year ahead. So Spirit, what is a key goal that Aries should be pursuing in the year ahead? What is a key goal that Aries should be pursuing in the month ahead? Wow. More on letting go so far. It's looking like one of the main goals that Spirit really wants from you. This one's like wanting to come out. Yeah, actually I'm told to put that in the opposite direction. One of the main things that Spirit really wants from you is just from you in the year ahead is to really let go of I'm hearing like thousands of pounds of grief weight. that you're carrying with you from a past that was just messy. You know, we all have these messy pasts. I always say that like people are always hurting as much as they possibly can, you know, and that like goes along with like the kid that like skins their knee, and it's if it's the first time that they skin their knee, that's like agony and screaming and crying. By the time that they're like 8, 9, 10, they skin their knee, it's no big deal, you know, because they're able to manage, you know, it's almost like it's no pain because their pain threshold has changed. And so what Spirit's bringing through to me with that image is leave that, don't hold on to that pain of the past. You're growing, and everyone has a messy past. Everyone's holding as much pain as they possibly can. And for you, as you know, you step into this whole new year, it's all about this great new beginning, and not holding on to stuff that is going to weigh you down. So this is the 10 of coins. And the 10 of coins is like the established, rooted, well, like abundant sort of a family. But you've got it like popping out right next to the 8 of swords. And the 8 of swords tends to be things that were sneaky, things that were underhanded, ways in which things were like stolen. So Spirit wants you to look at this differently. You know, the fact that this is coming up in the upright tells me that this isn't all is not lost with this structure, you know, but there's a sense in which there's pain attached to it. You're this incredible King of Wands energy. You're this beautiful, vibrant, inspired, there's a, what's the word I'm looking, it's a, what is that word? I want to say vivacious, a vitality. There's a vitality that is like your birthright. And the Spirit says that you, like, just looking at all of them, this is a cup. The 4 of Cups is often like the feeling sorry for yourself card. But it's like not seeing the good that you have, or the good that is coming towards you, or the good that is around you, because you're very focused on the, like, you know, the one cup that's spilled, you know, you're very focused on, let me just sit with this card for a moment. Spirit says, I really want you to lift your head up. Remember who you are. Understand that all is not lost in terms of, you know, especially with the coins, it's like material gain. Like, you know, if this has been a year of like having your like material gain and structure just, you know, torn asunder, Spirit's really coming in to say like, not really, you know, it's still intact. There's a level of like, you didn't lose whatever this was completely, but there's a sense in which attached to it there is, this is like the deception card, you know, so maybe there's a sense in which you're not even really truly being honest with yourself about what you do have, and there's also a sense in which, like, to the extent that there was some, you know, fracas related to the structure that, you know, was and is and remains, yeah, Spirit says something to pursue is just stepping into this space of knowing who you are, understanding what you do have that is still there, and really just like taking your focus off this negative stuff. And that came up before, it's, you know, coming up over and over again. This is a time for you to practice in a really like intentional way, letting go and not holding on. And that's something to really pursue this new way of being and thinking, where you just, you know, you're not like with spreadsheets of grief and things that, you know, didn't work out, and strategies forward, and, you know, how to, you know, protect yourself. Like, this is, why don't you just do it a whole different way? Why don't you just approach things, and this is that theme for the year, approaching things in a whole new way and stepping into life from a completely different feeling perspective, one that isn't related to planning, but is related to what you really want, you know, what your heart wants. So let's take a look at an obstacle to overcome in the year ahead. What is an obstacle for Aries to overcome in the year ahead? What is an obstacle for Aries to overcome in the year ahead? What is an obstacle for Aries to overcome in the year ahead? Okay, So there's like a bunch of energies coming through here. Spirit wants you to stop having nightmares. Like, well, this card is like being up at night, anxious, worried, freaking out, restlessness that is oppressive, restless. There's a panicky sort of feeling attached to this. And so Spirit says, like, you know, whatever this love relationship was, whatever it is, you know, in the year ahead, you do have a soulmate coming in. And it might not be romantic. Sometimes soulmates is like a sibling, a parent. It could be a really good friend. It could be a really good friend. But this is a reunion of that energy back into your life. And so Spirit, there's a sense in which, like, when it comes to intimate relationships or relationships that like get you at a heart level, this causes a lot of nightmares. It causes a lot of anxiety. It causes a lot of fear. It causes a, you know, you've been hurt so much. You've been hurt so much that there's an extent to which, like, protecting yourself from hurt is your new self-love. And Spirit is saying, Spirit wants you to not fall into a trap of dooming and glooming intimate, loving relationships with fear before they even happen. Because, you know, you have here is, this is a really interesting thing. So you've got the Queen of Coins in reverse. This is usually kind of like the wife energy, kind of. In reverse, it's like, it's not that, you know, what I see coming through here is, on the one side, you've got the High Priestess. And this is very psychic, watery, intuitive, all-knowing, very feminine, beautiful energy. And then, you know, this in the upright is very stable and home base, nurturing, abundant, and well endowed. When it's upside down, I mean, there's a sense in which maybe, like, your perspective, either these are two different energies, like either these are two different, like, distinct energies in the year ahead related to a brand new start. There's a sense in which you are making this, you are going from this place of not feeling stable, of not feeling grounded, of not feeling abundant, and into a place of just, like, you know, just beautiful intuition and I'm seeing like, you know, like a psychic, watery, this is a very beautiful energy. So, you know, there's movement. This a Fool card. This is a brand new beginning, and this card, reminding me of this card, is about following your instincts. It is not a brand new beginning that is well charted or really charted at all. It's a brand new beginning that your instincts are leading you, that, you know, desire is your turn signal. Look how similar these two cards look. This says breadcrumbs of bliss, heed your pleasure principle. This is related to your new start. These cards are almost identical. I mean, this is really, the Spirit wants to bring this message through, like, in a really big way. Let desire lead you. Let desire lead you, because you've got these two energies. You know, you've got this whole new beginning sandwiched between these two energies. And, you know, wait, this is, I just moved this around, okay. Where, you know, this energy, which wasn't really working, that you're either evolving from, or this is an energy that you were in relationship to, and then having this new start with this new energy, either within yourself, where you're becoming more spiritual, where you're being, you know, becoming more connected to your spiritual self and your insight and your intuition. This is a whole new start away from this energy of, like, clinging almost. You know, what's the word? There's a word trying to come through and I'm not really catching it. What is the Spirit? What is this word? Lack. You know, don't let a lack of, I'm hearing the word devastation. You do not need to fear. Spirit says you don't need to fear where you are right now, and the destabilizing effects of the previous year and previous years. You don't need to fear any of that, because you're just moving into this beautiful new arena of self, where all of that really becomes very relevant. So let's look at what an accomplishment. What's an accomplishment for you to work towards in the year ahead, Aries? What is a big accomplishment for Aries in the year ahead? Let's see what that is. Big accomplishment for Aries in the year ahead. Well, you're very strong. You're holding a lot. Ooh. All right. Big accomplishment for you in the year ahead is, this is someone coming in with an offer of love. It may not be like the most, it's like a young, energetic kind of offer of love. But there's definitely an offer of love coming in for you. This World card means everything's changing. Everything. Your life in going forward is going to look a world away from where you came from. This is a whole new chapter starting. So the year ahead is going to be about a whole new chapter. That bottom of the deck energy being like love coming in, an offer of love, and moving out of a space of burdened, you get the Hermit, and the Hermit card in reverse, it's like, the burden of, staying the same, the burden of keeping everything together, the burden of not expanding and not allowing your spirit to really breathe. This is going to be a year where you're going to accomplish just letting that go. Like all of this, letting this go, let it go, which spirit is saying like, yeah, you accomplish it, you really accomplish it. And you definitely have this whole new chapter starting. And it's there's an offer of love. There's a loving thing come through. And it doesn't have to be romantic love. It can be like all sorts of love. But what it is something beautiful coming your way. And so let's take a look real quick at like what is worth avoiding in the year to come. What should Aries try to avoid in the year to come? What should Aries try to avoid in the year to come? I guess like a warm, fuzzy feeling all of a sudden. What should Aries try to avoid in the year to come? Find out what that's about. What's something that Aries should avoid in that year to come? You need to spirit is saying like, I want you to stop being defensive about embracing your spiritual side. To the extent that this is a year, this really is a year of healing for you. You're going to be still healing in a healing process. That's what, in the upright card, this is like the star, this is acclaim and healed, really, coming from a place of healing. But, upside down, it's like you have all this beautiful potential, but you really do need to heal. With the Ace of Cups in reverse, it's almost like there's a tendency to push love away, especially, this is in the upright, this is self-love, and this is also, a full cup of love, like given to you from like the divine. It's sort of a spiritual thing. And that's where the Hangman card comes in. This is about really getting in touch with your spiritual self, like having that awakening, like allowing yourself to expand in this way and allowing that spiritual body to become a bigger part of your life. And so, Spirit really wants you to avoid pushing love away. Because I'm seeing almost like an animal with a wound, like really doesn't want anyone near it because it feels that vulnerability of its woundedness. And so what you want to avoid this year is pushing people away because you're in the process of healing, pushing love away because you're in the process of healing. And step into your spiritual strength to sort of combat that panic that comes with being in a healing space, because Spirit's saying like it's time to sort of like move away from a constant hypervigilant defensive posturing. And so as you're going forward, that's going to be like, you're going to have all it seems like your accomplishments are related to like a whole new beginning, a whole new chapter, and letting the old way of doing things go and embracing a more primal approach towards looking at the future, a more instinctual, heart-led, desire-led approach to moving towards the future. And so let's take a look at what Spirit would have you embrace in the year ahead. What would Spirit have you embrace in the year ahead? What would Spirit have you embrace in the year ahead? Spirit, what should Aries embrace going forward? What should Aries embrace? Just take a moment. Sometimes the shuffle can go on for quite some time. Oh, all right. So you've got the Two of Cups. You should embrace love. Okay, we've got stuff here. Okay. So to this soulmate energy, it's like reunion soulmate energy, and this whole new chapter, and this beautiful, like, new beginning that Spirit's like, just start over, you know, and let it be like an instinct-driven starting over, to all of that. And that's the theme of this year ahead, is like repetitive, you know, in terms of like how the cards are coming through. There's an energy that is very much an equal match. This is sort of like somebody who is an equal balance, somebody who sees you clearly, someone who understands you, someone who you see clearly, someone who you understand. It's very natural. It's a real recognition at a very deep soul level. It's a perfect match. That's really what the Two of Cups is about. Is this is a perfect complementary match. And that's beautiful. And so that's something to really embrace this year. But you also have to embrace change. You know, part of embracing this energy is embracing change. The Death card is only about change. It's only about metamorphosis. Like, it's never, you know, something to be afraid of. It can be difficult. You know, when anything dies, there's going to be a level of grief. So to the extent that there's this metamorphosis, and again, that's this whole new start. To the extent that there's this metamorphosis, in order to come into this Two Cups energy with someone who really is a balancing force, and a fairness and an equal and just like a really good partnership, is letting this like sort of codependent, shackled, negative experience of relational dynamics, letting that really die. And it looks like this year it really does. And you sort of do step out of the codependence and the addictive, even obsessive sort of a space, and step into like a very secure, clear place where you know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it's coming together, and like what it all means. But it's like there isn't emotional overwhelm. This is a very clear energy that isn't in any way, you're not being dragged around by your emotions. You're really able to like see things and know what you're doing and feel confident and all that. And this is just a very balanced, beautiful thing. So that's what's definitely something that Spirit wants you to embrace. Now, let's take a second and ask Spirit, like, you know, in those times when this is a little bit more difficult, you know, in these times when you are dealing with this energy, this anxious, fearful, like threatened sort of energy, oh, how beautiful. The bottom of the deck energy on what to embrace is just like that, your wishes. Embrace what you're wishing for. That's what the bottom of the deck energy is. So let's ask Spirit where you can find support in this year ahead. Where are you going to find support in this year ahead? Where can Aries find support? Ooh. Wow. There's so much here. You've got so much support. You know, this is actually a gigantic bunch. So let's just pull this apart. Okay, so, whoa, where to start? Well, you're going to be dealing with a level, like you're coming out of, this is like conflict, massive, massive conflict. And, you know, upside down, I'm seeing you're coming out of this conflict with this Queen of Swords energy. This is, for lack of a better word, just a nasty, cold, mean, like cruel sort of feminine energy. Like that's sort of like so this conflict with this, you're coming out of this. So Spirit says, like, as you move out of this space of conflict with this energy, Spirit would have you, you are like, this is like, you know, Spirit wants you to know that you're coming out of this devastation, you're coming out of this conflict, you're coming away from having to deal with this very like sort of cruel sort of energy. And Spirit says that there's your Spirit wants you to actually be able to be willing to look for help dealing with this, because you're coming out of it does not mean you're all the way out of it. It means that you're moving out of it, and you're not really feeling 100% in your strength and in your power. And because you are moving into, because you're changing and you are like stepping into yourself, and you're going to be like making these decisions going forward based on your desires, there's a sense in which like the conflict of this past, you know, this very it's like a nasty energy, and there's the devastation, you know, and feeling weakened by that. It's okay to seek a level of Spirit's like, you do not have to be trauma independent. You know, there's independence, which is, you know, independence is wonderful. It's a great, you know, is a wonderful thing. It's an essential thing. But there's something called like hyper independence related to trauma, where it's the trauma that keeps you from ever asking anyone for help, because you just don't trust it, right? So the energies that you can really look to help for this year ahead, that you've got this Queen of Wands energy now. Queen of Wands is like sexy, inspired, very fiery sort of energy, quick-witted, fun, like incredibly, like just a ton of fun. So there's this energy that, you know, you'll have in your life. And so Spirit's saying, you know, to the extent that you recognize this energy as like a project or a person, or you know, for some of you even like a place, you know, something that makes you feel excited, alive, vibrant, vivacious, like this is that card. So that's the energy that Spirit wants you to draw for help, you know, for sustenance, for an ability to like move through those negative, painful emotions. And the whole year ahead is about letting that stuff go. You know, there's this other energy, it's just this other energy coming in, and these energies could be separate, these energies could be in the same person, these energies could be not a person, they could be a job, you know, but these energies, again, you've got this fiery, passionate, beautiful, sexy energy, and you also have this energy that it's somebody who can make something out of nothing. You know, it's like MacGyver. This is like that MacGyver energy, sort of like the magician has everything that they need to create anything that they want to manifest. That is this energy. So this is an energy that is incredibly resourceful. And this is, you know, working with people. So Spirit says, you know, where are you going to turn for support? You're going to turn to people that you can work with, easily, where it's actually fun to work with them. You're going to turn to like, and again, projects, people, places that it's just like fun to work with in terms of like where you are at energetically. And, you know, this is an energy of like, you know, the maverick, you know, somebody or something that can make anything out of anything. And there's also this sexy, beautiful energy too. So Spirit's like, you know, this is where you're going to find some support in these energies, and also in this energy where like, you know, there's a lot of truth coming towards you. Like there's a sense in which like you have encountered, you know, message after message after message of like insight after insight after insight. And this is going to be a driving force for you going forward in terms of like, you know, you're encountering this whole new way of being yourself in the world, and it's flipping everything on its head. But again, like Spirit will remind you like 1,000 times through this reading, because it comes up over and over and over again. This is a good thing. And there's just like, there's a pace to the year ahead that is going to be full of stuff and things that like excite you even on a cerebral level. And Spirit is saying that's going to be a huge support for you, because you're not good with idle. You just don't do good. You being idle is not good. So that there's going to be like a lot coming in terms of like opportunities, information, insights, and that there is going to be an opportunity for, you know, how will you know that this is a supportive work dynamic? Is going to be fun. If it's not fun, it's not, right? This resourceful energy is beautiful. This sexy energy is beautiful. So you've got these really wonderful energies that are going to be around you. They're going to be like incredible for you to find support for dealing with that mess that you're coming out of, because it's still, there's a sense in which it still kind of like lurks in your system. And so Spirit's like, don't be hyper independent, actually lean on these beautiful things and these beautiful people that are going to be around you, because they're going to be a tremendous support. So I'm going to let's go over to an oracle. We're going to take from the oracle decks for advice from Spirit. I'm just going to grab a couple of I get a couple of different decks. All right, so let's start with this one. Spirit, what is some advice? Ooh, that flew right out. What is some advice? This is related to a Virgo. What is some advice that you have for Aries this year ahead, as Aries moves into their new year? What is some advice that you have for Aries? Oh, I'm just gonna take this. That's a lot. I'll take it anyway. Okay, so you've got the Virgo energy popping out. Now, this could be somebody that you know, or all this actually is just an energy of, you know, like this feels like an energy of order, and it feels like an energy of sobriety. So in relation to that, there's a lot going on. You know, you're really having this like this new beginning, you know, with the Sagittarius energy. The Sagittarius energy is like seeing a goal, like, you know, the archer, right? You know, seeing a goal, like pulling that arrow back and like just hitting the bullseye. And that's the energy that I get from the Sagittarius card. And so that is Spirit saying, like, this is your Spirit saying you're kind of moving out of this space and into like a more passionate, goal-oriented, like instead of like order, structure, strategy, it's more like passion, like, and then just going after your goal, like letting it fly, letting it rip, really following that inner vision, that inner turn signal of desire, so that you can come into this place of harmony within yourself. Spirit wants you to understand that you are wise, that you have tremendous wisdom, that you have like just so much wisdom, and you are moving into this harmonious place. But you know, you get there by following that inner turn signal of desire, by like seeing a goal and just, you know, without too much planning. Again, the archer just like pulls the bow back and aims. So that's what you're going to be, you know, pull that bow back and aim, because you're going to be really in a very attractive space, and like you're attracting in, where is that card? Where did it go? You're attracting in your equal, right? And so attract in your equal. I mean, that's a wonderful, so, you know, Spirit's saying that, you know, there's so much like, go get it in this pile. And so, you know, Spirit's like, you're attracting in your equal, you're attracting in things that are going to be a match to you. And it doesn't have, again, it's not relationship, it doesn't have to be relationships. Again, it's collective read. For some people, it's going to be like that, and for others, not so much. Others, it's going to be a situation. But Spirit wants you to know you're attracting in this very, very balanced, equal situation, and that this is a shift. This is related to the shift in the way that you do things. You know, Spirit says there's so many blessings coming for you this year. It's going to blow your mind. But it's a year of change. There's no two ways about it. You're moving away from really heavy stuff and actually just leaving it behind, and retaining what was strong to begin with. That was what really came through with the 10 of coins in the beginning of the reading, is that you're retaining what is good from what you built up. You really are. You just don't feel good about it. But Spirit's saying, like, you're going to shift your perspective, and you're going to shift the way in which you like approach things and go towards things, and that's just going to make all the difference in the world in terms of you being able to like regain that sense of like what you think is lost isn't. You know, it's just not. It's coming in really clear. You know, Spirit wants you to go with the flow a lot more than you have been, so that you can really be in a place of like receiving these blessings, because there's so many blessings for you. There really are. You know, it's been hard, but you know, Spirit wants to show you that the bottom of the deck is inner peace. Like following that turn signal of desire just brings you to this place of inner peace, and that's so beautiful. Remembering what delight feels like. There's almost a sense in which you haven't, where you've lost what that, like, there's a sense that you forgot what delight was. But Spirit's saying, like, you're really going to have a ton of success in rediscovering it. You know, Spirit would have you be open to change, open to a new way of doing things, and understand that this is a threshold, this is a gateway, this is a whole new direction that you're going in, and it's a whole new direction really springing from this heart center. And to the extent that the Fool and the Fool are the same card, your theme, it's a start that's like totally new. This is like a newborn, you know, this is like a little kid. Little kids are moved through life like following their desire, following their instincts. And so like there's almost a sense in which Spirit is saying like your year ahead, it's like returning to that innocence of childhood in the way that you look at things, approach things, and there's a new sense of wonder. And you're at this precipice, you're moving through this gateway from what was into like a new future that is just like, Spirit saying it's a very different emotional landscape than you're used to. It's like adventurous, right? And so, advice from Spirit, and I'll just grab one more card from this deck, but advice for Spirit is that there's blessings coming in, go with the flow. This is not about something that you're creating, this is about something that's coming to you. And remember that you can remember what it feels like to be delighted again. You just have to have an openness to this new direction, because this new direction is where all of these incredible adventures are. So one more card from Spirit in terms of advice, and then we'll close out. But it's looking like a year of major change. But again, I'm loving what this is. Let me just find, where did it go? Because I keep on going, my mind keeps on bringing me back to this. And if I could just figure, yeah. Here's some things I want to show you, Aries. All right, I'm gonna point some things out. We're done with this. This is the anxiety, fearful, worried, looking over your shoulder, not being able to sleep, not being restless in the worst of ways. So I want to show you something. I want to bring you back to something. In the beginning of the reading, this year you've got a soulmate reunion, again, friend, maybe it's a lover from the past, could be anyone. But this is a beautiful energy that's coming in this year. This came up in the upright, even though it was, next to this card, this is a card of just a lot of trouble, not trusting, not feeling good about. I want to bring your attention back to this because it's in the upright. And when something is in the upright, it tells me that even though you might feel like this is stained, it's not. You didn't lose everything you built. It didn't crumble to the ground. Yes, you're starting all over again. Yes, you're coming from a new place. Yes, you're going to have a new perspective. Yes, you're letting desire lead you around. Yes, you're moving with the heart space. Yes, you're going to be acting more like the archer and less strategic, but this is still here for you. It's still intact. And there is this beautiful equalizing energy coming in. So this is actually, I wanted to bring those things out because this is such a great year. It's such a great year going forward. And the only thing that Spirit is really requiring or asking or advising you to do is just to let that negative stuff go and, release, purge. Spirit's let yourself emotionally break down a little bit so you can squeeze some of that pus out of that wound. That's so gross, but that's what came through. I got to show you this card that popped out. So this is it says wildness and electricity, but I have to just do this. I don't understand how clear does Spirit have to be? How clear? This is all the same card. I mean, these are 3 different decks. You've got this card, identical to this card, and identical to this card. So I'm really going to focus in on that. This is the gist of the message for your year. You're starting over. You're being led by instincts, by wonder, by a childlike curiosity. You're following your desire, what gives you pleasure. That's going to be your turn signal. That's going to be the navigator. And this is bringing you back into that space of your own fiery, beautiful, confident, bold, empowered energy. This is your core, who you really are, not with the bad things that happen, not the good things that happen, but who you are outside of those things is this beautiful, incredibly vibrant, light, bright, passionate energy. And this is not something that this is something that you're coming home to. This is that childlike space. So it's almost, so really what Spirit is saying, this is the year that you really come home to yourself. And what that means is that you come home to your vibrant, led by your heart, led by your desires, not led by expectations, not led by ambition, not led by any of the negative drives. This is just being led by wonder, instinct, and curiosity, and this is a fresh, gorgeous new beginning for you. So I'm super excited about your year ahead. Like, I feel like this is a really positive thing for you. Let's see if I can get that up. There we are. So I feel like this is a really positive thing for you. I think you should feel good about the direction that you're going. There's beautiful stuff. And the letting go, Spirit was clear in terms of like where to get support. The letting go isn't a finished process. There's a residual ouch. There's a tenderness kind of a thing. But you're going to have incredible support around you. I don't know that it can get any better than the Queen of Wands and the Magician as support systems. And I'm trying to remember what else came through, but it was positive. And again, the only thing that really, 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 really has come through over and over and over again is you have to let this change just happen. Change in the way that you do things, in the way you see things, in the way that you go towards things. Everything else is beautiful. So, and accept help. Don't be so help adverse. There's some really good energies that are coming into your life. So that is everything for them. This is your year, Aries, your year ahead. So happy birthday. And this is a year ahead reading, and there's so much good coming through. So I'm so glad that you were able to see this reading and that you spent time with me. And I hope that you come back next month. Hope some of that resonated. All right, have a good month and have a good year.